the Supreme Court of the Philippines, here's the latest.
The Supreme Court has ruled that a doctor who offers proper medical advice, clearly explains the risks of a procedure, and secures proper consent from the patient is not liable for medical malpractice. In a decision written by then Associate Justice Maria Lopez, the SC Second Division upheld the dismissal of a complaint against Dr. Abenilo Aventura, head of the Philippine Heart Surgery Department, for the death of his patient, Quintin Ke. Ruling that Dr. Aventura was not negligent and did not commit medical malpractice, the SC explained that medical malpractice occurs when a doctor fails to deliver the standard of care expected from other doctors in similar circumstances, resulting in harm to the patient. A basis for malpractice is the lack of informed consent, which occurs when a patient agrees to a procedure without being fully informed about its risks and potential outcomes. The SC found that Dr. Aventura clearly informed the patient and his family about the risks associated with the stenting procedure, including the risk of death. He also clarified that another doctor would perform the procedure, and the patient signed the consent forms. In another decision, the SC has recognized that a sudden outburst of uncontrolled emotions triggered by years of abuse from the accused's father qualifies as passion or obfuscation, a mitigating circumstance that can reduce the penalty for parricide. The SC's First Division, through Associate Justice Ramon Paul Hernando, upheld the conviction of accused Leopoldo Singcol for killing his father, but lowered the penalty due to the presence of this mitigating factor. While the SC held that self-defense was not applicable in this case, it ruled that passion or obfuscation should be considered as a mitigating factor or circumstance that lessens the penalty. Singcol was sentenced to reclusion perpetua, or a maximum of 40 years in prison, for each crime of parricide and the murder of his sister-in-law. The SC considered the parricide a result of a sudden surge of the accused's bottled-up feelings caused by paternal neglect since childhood, as shown by Singcol's narration and his extreme irrational acts of self-harm immediately after the killing. In another case, the SC has acquitted two individuals accused of illegal gambling due to the arresting officer's failure to provide specific details of the gambling activity. In a ponencia by Associate Justice Ami Lazaro Javier, the SC Second Division overturned the conviction of Robert Plan and Mark Oliver Enolva. They were earlier found guilty of violating Presidential Decree No. 1602, which imposes a stiffer penalty on illegal gambling. The SC found that the police failed to prove that the accused were actually placing bets. While the officers claimed to have seen pot money on the floor, they could not confirm the denomination of the bills. The SC stressed that for a gambling conviction to hold, the arresting officer must present clear and specific details of the gambling operations. The SC has also ruled that the 15-year time limit or prescriptive period for filing a bigamy case begins only when the bigamous marriage is actually discovered, not when it is registered with the government. In a ponencia by Associate Justice Samuel Garlan, the SC's Third Division found Erwin Bonbon guilty of bigamy after marrying Elizabeth Bonbon in 1999 while still legally married to another woman. Sentencing Erwin to up to 8 years and 1 day in prison, the SC explained that under the revised penal code, bigamy is committed when a person who is still legally married enters into another marriage that appears to be valid. Case for bigamy must be filed within 15 years from the time the second marriage is actually discovered, not just registered. The Supreme Court said that since bigamous marriages are often kept secret, using the date of registration as the starting point for the time limit would make prosecution almost impossible. On July 9, the SC, led by the 2025 Bar Examinations Chairperson, Associate Justice Ami Lazaro Javier, held a contract signing ceremony with the University of Santo Tomas or UST for the 2025 Bar Examinations at the On-Bank Session Hall. The ceremony sealed the partnership between the court and the UST, which will serve as the national headquarters for the 2025 bar exams to be held on September 7, 10, and 14, 2025. Joining Justice Lazaro Javier were Chief Justice Alexander Esmundo, Clerk of Court On-Bank Attorney Marifelo Mibao Cuevas, and Deputy Clerk of Court and Chief Administrative Officer Attorney Maria Karina Matamu Cunanan, while Secretary General Reverend Father Louis Coronel, on behalf of UST Rector Very Reverend Father Richard Ang, and Dr. Emmanuel Batulan served as representatives from the UST. On July 10, His Excellency Dr. Andreas Michael Fafanoshka, German ambassador to the Philippines, paid a courtesy visit to Chief Justice Alexander Esmundo and SC Associate Justices Ami Lazaro Javier, Jose Midas Marquez, and Raul Villanueva, held at the SC On-Bank Session Hall in Manila. Ambassador Fafanoshka was joined by German Embassy Manila Economic Counselor Dr. David Klebs. During the courtesy call, Chief Justice Esmundo and Ambassador Fafanoshka emphasized that although the Philippines and Germany have different judicial systems, the rule of law must always prevail. Other matters discussed included maritime law, competition law, and the use of technology and artificial intelligence in the judiciary. On Wednesday, Senior Associate Justice Marvic Leonen stressed the importance of re-evaluating existing penal systems to give way to an effective and more humane approach to criminal justice. In his message as keynote speaker at the Restorative Justice Training and Conference for Bureau of Jail Management and Penology Lawyers, held in Quezon City, SAJ Leonen stated that in restorative justice, the focus is not on punishment, but on using the law and upholding human dignity and social justice. Among the topics tackled during the training and conference were challenges in the Philippine justice system, restorative justice as a new approach, and emerging restorative justice practices.
You are now up to date with the Philippine Supreme Court. I am Diffit Indidable Tran, Supreme Court Information Officer.